So Alex, tell me where you work.
I work for University of Arizona, a program called Arizona Project WET, and I educate here in the Valley on water conservation.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to ask you a couple questions about SCC and how we can create sustainability at SCC through water conservation.
Great.
My first question is, what is a cistern and how can it be used effectively at SCC?
So a cistern is a storage device for water, basically a big tub or something like that. It can be underground or above ground. So that'll typically store rainwater, say running off a roof. That water can be diverted into the cistern and stored there. And as water is used, it can be pulled out of that and used for watering plants or for drinking even, taking showers. So that could be used at SCC. I imagine there's a lot of buildings at SCC, a lot of hardscape, and so when water falls on that, it just runs off. So any of that water could be captured and reused.
Okay, and where would you use that water in SCC?
Priority number one, I'd say, would be outdoors. The easiest place to use it on plants, trees, grass even.
Okay. And what is the biggest way to save water inside and outside?
Well, outside first. So we use most of our water here in the Phoenix area outside. So if there is grass, making that switch to native plants, native trees, bushes, those will use a lot less water. And then inside, we use a lot of water in the bathrooms, toilets especially. So getting lower flow toilets, dual flush toilets, no flow toilets, that can do a lot to reduce water usage.
Okay. And what is gray water and how effectively can SCC use gray water?
So gray water comes, it's post-use inside the house. So after it's used like at a faucet or after you take a shower, all that water, it's now considered gray water. That water can be used outside really effectively around plants again. It can be treated and reused inside. And gray water is different than black water. Black water comes from toilets and from the kitchen sink. It tends to have a lot of organic particles in it and takes longer to treat and decompose.
Okay. And where do you think the single most places at SCC where the most water is being wasted?
So without being there, it's hard for me to say, but I would imagine that if there's large grassy areas, it'd be there.
Okay. And if SCC does make the modifications that you have talked about, how effectively will it be at creating water sustainability at SCC?
Well, we live here in the desert. There's not much water to go around. So any little bit that we can reduce, that we can save for either others to use, for the future to just leave it in the ground, not even pull it out in the first place. That'll go a long way to ensuring there's enough water here for everybody and everything.
And what is the most important thing to know about water conservation?
Well, we all need water, we all use it, but there's a balance to be found between using what we need and then disrespecting it, not using more than what we need, right? Being wasteful. So the biggest thing is to be respectful of it, be conscious of when you're using it and when you don't need to use it, and then just make those changes in your life and in the system.
All right, well, thank you.
Sure. What do you think?